All right, you've probably seen this name popping up all over your social feeds, right? PolyBuzz AI. So today we're going to dive in and figure out what all the buzz is actually about.
So you might be thinking, okay, great, another chatbot. But is it? The answer is a little more complex, and honestly, a whole lot weirder. This is a place where you can have a conversation with, well, pretty much anyone or anything you can dream up.
So at its core, what is PolyBuzz? It's not about one single AI. No, it's more like a whole universe of different characters you can talk to. We're talking everything from a demon butler who serves you tea with a side of sarcasm to, I don't know, a Zen master named Greg who only speaks in haikus. It's basically a choose-your-own adventure, but for conversation.
And when I say universe, I am not exaggerating. The platform claims to host a library of over 20 million unique characters. I mean, that sheer scale is what really sets it apart. It's this rabbit hole of just endless possibilities.
And this quote kind of hits the nail on the head. One way to think of it is like the more impulsive, freewheeling sibling to other character chat platforms you might know. It's way less about structured tasks and way more about just spontaneous discovery.
Okay, so what's the hook? What is it that gets people to stay and chat for hours on end? Let's get into the core of why this thing is so magnetic.
It really boils down to a few key things. First off, it's personality first, not task first. You're not there to get work done. Second, it's super flexible. It adapts to whatever mood you're in. Third, it's got really low friction. It's just so easy to start. And finally, it's all about discovery. Just browsing for new characters is half the fun.
And that really gets to the heart of it. Unlike a productivity tool, PolyBuzz is the place you go when you want a conversation that feels like it has flavor, you know? Something distinct and engaging.
Okay, let's dive into the actual user experience. And honestly, it's refreshingly simple.
It's super straightforward. You basically just find a character that, matches your vibe. You pick one, you start chatting, and then you can kind of steer the conversation however you want. Oh, and if you can't find the perfect character, you can just create your own for free. It's kind of like walking into a gigantic wardrobe of possibilities instead of just owning one outfit. This massive library means you can jump between genres and scenarios, from fantasy to modern drama, whenever you feel like it.
All right, now let's look a little closer at 3 words you'll hear thrown around a lot with PolyBuzz: free, private, and unrestricted. Let's see what they actually mean in practice.
First up, free. So yes, the platform is free to start. But like a lot of apps, there are paid upgrades, optional purchases and memberships for extra perks and features. Okay, on to private. Now the platform says chats are private, but it's always smart to treat any AI chat with a bit of caution. App Store disclosures do note that some data can be collected, so just, never share any super sensitive personal info.
And unrestricted. What does that mean? Well, it means you have a lot of freedom for sure, more than many other AIs. But it doesn't mean there are no rules at all. For example, NSFW stuff isn't allowed in public display, and content does get moderated.
So how do you move beyond just generic chats and have conversations that really feel like an ongoing series? Let's get into some pro tips.
Okay, pro tip number 1, use a one-line scene. Seriously, instead of a long, complicated prompt, just start with a simple sentence to set the stage.
So for example, a simple sentence like this one. It immediately establishes a really clear dynamic and a setting. It gives the AI everything it needs to know.
Okay, next up, pro tip number 2. Add one constraint. This is all about guiding the AI's behavior so it doesn't go off the rails.
This helps you control the pacing and make sure the character stays on track with the tone you're going for.
And this brings us to our final tip: re-anchor when it drifts. Look, AI memory isn't perfect, so if the character starts to forget details, you just have to gently pull it back.
Yeah, a quick reminder like this can easily restore the continuity, and that's crucial, right? Because AI memory is pretty limited.
So let's wrap this up. The main takeaway here is that PolyBuzz is a massive character chat universe. It's really best for things like roleplay, creative play, and just low-pressure conversation. And remember, simple steering, like a scene plus a constraint, that's the key to a good experience. And of course, always be smart and remember that free and unrestricted do have some nuances.
And that leaves us with a final thought. As these platforms get bigger and bigger, what role will they ultimately play in our lives? Is this just a creative tool, a comforting escape, or maybe something else entirely? It's a big question to think about.